I click send. You should have access to this slideshow because I know life will happen and you'll forget everything that I said. And there's a couple of key dates in there. So let me go ahead and get started with the slideshow portion. Please click go. There we go. Oh, I have to go back to the beginning. Let's start. Let me scroll faster. Excuse me. Okay, so this trip, as you know, will take place in Costa Rica at a place called the Soltis Center in the city of San Ramon, which you will see where that's situated in a little bit. But as you can see by the logo in the middle, this is something that is owned and operated by the A&M system. So we know that it's safe and vetted, and it was built by A&M. So everybody that works there works for A&M. You will see the A&M colors everywhere when you go there. The purpose for our trip that Dr. Corp and I did together in December was simply to explore and see what the opportunities were there before we dragged other people into it. So what we found is that it's a great place to just explore another culture. We visited a lot of schools, rural schools, so it's a nice comparison to those of us that work in rural communities. Of course, if you are going to Costa Rica, you are going for more than just looking at schools. You want to learn a little bit about the rainforest and all of the lush biodiversity that exists around you. And indeed, that's what we want you to do as well. For purposes of this class, for you who are doctoral students, we are embedding qualitative research practicum. And I'll talk a little bit more about that shortly to do some comparative analysis between our schools and theirs. And then, of course, there's opportunity for interdisciplinary connections. So where are you going to stay? Here's the accommodations. It's approximately, we arrive at the San Jose airport. Well, that's not its name, but it's in the city of San Jose. And it's about a 3-hour drive. Traffic is horrendous. We drove in a car. Bless Dr. Corp, who managed all of the craziness. I was the navigator. Thank goodness it wasn't me behind the wheel. But you will stay in a dormitory style accommodations. Just to allay your fears, you won't be driving. We will have chartered transportation services because that's what they do with groups. We did it differently because it was 2 of us. The room and board is buffet style and the meals are set. And it's the accommodations are basic. So what you can see here are some of the structures around where you will be staying. I'll show you a picture right now where you can see this is the property. It is in the rainforest that it was built. It was built in a rainforest where they, carved out this clearing. So let's see, let me go next slide. You'll see where we're actually going to sleep, but this is where we dine. There's a big dining room here. So you can see it's buffet style and groups, tons and tons of groups have gone over time. In fact, we left with lots of openings. And when we tried to book, we found out there was 1 week, and that's the one we're advertising that is left for us to be able to go during the summer when most of us can go, otherwise other times of the year. And then there's lots of common meeting space that overlooks open air and looks out over the view and such. So, and then of course, this is an example of our meals. The meal, as we said, it's cafeteria style, but it's Central American food. And anyone who knows anything about Central American food will recognizes that it's a little bit different from Mexican food. It has very different flavors. But they do accommodate special diets and such if we need to have that. So here's our dormitory. At this time, they have bunk beds, a room with 2 bunk beds. So it's 4 per person. Men will be sleeping in a room. Perhaps since we usually have a minority of men who come tend to get their own accommodations because there's fewer of them than women. But it's adequate. It's comfortable. Somebody said, oh, it's kind of like glamping. You have a roof over your head. It's open air from one side of the room to the next. Oh, here we go. There's a screen door here. And at the opposite side, there's a screen door. And I left the room open because it just felt so good. And I woke up to hearing the birds and the crickets and whatever life was outside, I was listening to when I woke up. It was really quite lovely. And then there's a big, huge walk-in shower on the other side. But it's not a lush bed. you will you will sleep well, but it's not like what you have at home. Just know that. So we went to visit. Our purpose was to see what schools we could visit because we're in education. That's what we do. And we saw all of these schools. What you're going to notice is that there's a range from pre-K all the way through high school. Some of the schools are one-room schoolhouses. Some of the schools are regular, rotating classrooms like we have, but not nearly as big or well resourced as ours are, etc. And sometimes the high school is just 3 steps away down the building, just down the pathway. Some of our rural schools that I've been into are still like that, but it depends on where you work. Their school day is from 7 till 2. So we will do our school visits in the morning. So anything connected to a school will be in the morning. Some of them you drive to, and some of them, there's one that we will actually be able to walk to because it's that close. School is open from February to December, so that's why June is a good time for us to go because they will be in school. When we went, school had just closed and they were preparing for graduation ceremonies. So we saw a lot of parent involvement when we actually showed up, and we got to talk to principals and some teachers. So here's just a few pictures. You're going to see a farm, schools where they do farming, and that's a micro farm that they're advertising over there on the upper right hand, all done by the community, parents and teachers and such. There was this is a model school that they bring people from all over Costa Rica and all over the world. They come to see this one because it is it's all about the hands-on learning with the farming and the things that the community has built. And they were building on, I think, a high school to this when we got there. So just an example of stuff in the classroom and outside. Here's another one that was just a little bit smaller. I'm just showing you pictures at a glance because it's too much to be able to talk about here. Here you can see an example. She's the principal. She is teacher by day. In the morning, she teaches all students, all levels, K through 6. There's a preschool right next to her. And then in the afternoon, she's the principal. So kids go home, and here were some of the parents, and they were thinking about building something new. So people were bringing in stuff for that. And then here's some of the excursions. On site is, because I said it's in the rainforest, on site they have a waterfall that we are able to hike up to. And the director of the center was our guide at this point in time, and he showed us was able to describe a lot of things. So we will have a bilingual guide at us at all times. Some of our members that are interested are bilingual, but most of us that are in the group are not bilingual. So we want to make sure that we accommodate everyone. But that was where we ended up at the top. And so that's just one picture of where we went. By the way, when you go, you do need, it was so funny because I'm wearing these boots. I thought I was all set to go with my hiking sandals. And I got there and he said, "You can't wear those." And I said, "I can't." And he says, "No, you need boots." And I said, "Do you have any that I can use?" He says, "Yep." And there's racks of these big rubber boots. And I said, "Why not?" And see, Dr. Corp, she's got shoes on that she brought her boots, but I thought I was doing the right thing. They have what they call bullet ants. Bullet ants are extraordinarily painful if you get bitten, and very, very large, and they live there. So nobody wants to get bitten by a bullet ant. So you do need to follow their advice. And they said, "You want to hike a walking stick?" I said, "No, I'm fine." And he said, "You need a walking stick." And indeed, you could see I was needing to use my walking stick in various different areas. So we do what they tell us because they know, they live there, they know the routine. Here was a picture of us going to the Hanging Gardens, which was the Hanging Bridges rather, which was the mystical rainforest farther away where we had to drive to. So just another example of some of the excursions. Our trip was really, really quick. We didn't get to do a lot, but there's other things that we can do that we're going to try to build in. But here's the big burning questions that I know most of you will have. This is the logistics. You can read on the top corner exactly where it's located, all the different names, if that interests you as far as what is San Ramon, what's La Fortuna, what's Alajuela, all those names pop up. But the trip is scheduled right now from June 14 through 21. They cannot accommodate us until the 15th, I believe. So we're going to go in on the 14th and stay a day in San Jose. And it's because it's so far away, we'll stay the night there so that we don't arrive really late into the evening. And we'll spend a day doing something. They're planning some activities for us there. The cost of the trip right now is $2,800. We are still in negotiations to try to maximize the activities that we can do and bring that cost down for you. Dr. Corp is extremely frugal and very conscious of student expenses. So she's managing the budget and I'm managing all the permissions here at our end. So I just received an email, 30 minutes ago with the date to where you would put your deposit, but we also have another date that you need to focus on if you're interested, and that is a scholarship from the Office of International Programs. They have scholarship trips that I have done before. We anticipate $500 to $800. There have been trips where I've gotten more. There's trips where I've gotten less. I have a meeting with the director of that office tomorrow to see if I can pin her down to tell me how much money that they're going to allot per student. But don't miss the deadline. If you're interested, I will send you the link, which I don't have yet. If you fill out the interest form that some of you have, but if you haven't, I'm going to have a link for that. Make sure that you fill it out so that I know to send you information. We're going to ask for a $500 deposit by March 6th because we need to pay a deposit on the whole trip and we need to buy your airfare. So therefore, we need money to be able to start getting this trip on the road. So then what we're going to ask for are monthly payments, installments all the way up until May 6th when everything is done. Don't ask me now what those are. We're just going to do the math and divide it out, basically.
Dr. Slay, there's a question. Does this amount, is this on top of the course tuition or?
Yes.
Yes.
You will pay you will pay tuition as normal. And that's a great question because we're inviting all graduate students. There might be a small core of master's students and then, of course, the core of doctoral students. And your course would be the EDCI 690, which has been developed for this. And it will be an opportunity for you to do qualitative research methods in an international setting. You're going to get to see what it's like to actually do observation and gather data. Those of you that speak Spanish can take audio recording or translate or do what you wish with that. But we anticipate that it'll be visual data collecting because not everyone will speak Spanish. We're going to ask you to do some coding and some analysis, but we want you to do this as a group so that it's a practicum. It's like a big workshop on all these different skills that you're going to need to practice and apply yourselves. And what are you going to turn in at the end? Your researcher's memo, which is what researchers do, and your reflection on this trip. So that's really fast. If you want to get a sense of the itinerary, you do have to be enrolled for the semester, which is just like you would be if you were at home. It's just that part of your semester will be abroad and some of it will be here. So it begins on July or June 1st. The first 2 weeks, we will do some reading and research on preparing for the trip and qualitative methodology. We will then when we get there, we leave right now it's scheduled for the 14th. Day 2, they have on the itinerary they have given us so far is to do a tour of a coffee place because coffee is one of their products there in Costa Rica, and go to a wildlife animal rescue. I'm anxious about that because I have not been to that one, and I think that would be really cool. Day 3 would be the hike to the waterfall that you saw a picture of. We would be going to school in the morning, and then in the afternoon, there would be classwork, whether it's collaborative. We recognize that a lot of you are busy. You have other things on your plate. Some people have mentioned, but I'm taking another class, or I'm writing, I'm doing stuff. So we're going to try to accommodate all of that. Yet we know you're going to get tired because that's just the way it is. I've done this enough times that when you're in a foreign country, you're working on high speed all the time because you're getting acclimated to everything. But you'll have a lot of fresh air time. How about that? Um, the night walk, they didn't put it on our schedule, and I just sent them a message a few days ago. And I said, "Hey, what about the night walk?" So we're trying to get that in. There's also a volcano park that I'd like for us to be able to put in there. So I just plug those in as possible places to do this. And then there's rafting. Dr. Corbin, I did do rafting. There's different degrees of rafting. We went on the lazy raft, but there's also whitewater rafting. So the point in a lot of this is that these things are there, and when we need numbers right now because we have to cement this, get this. We need a final itinerary. We need to get money flowing. You need to get passports, etc. So we have to get all the logistics in place so that we can give them an exact number, and then we can start picking these things apart or putting them together for a solid itinerary based around you and your interests. So I need the group so I know who I'm talking to, and then we can start planning more specifically and talking more details. The hanging bridges is on the shirt, and then shopping is. We didn't do a lot of shopping, but we did stop at one little place because we wanted to see. We wanted to bring something back to our families. So we're not going there to shop, but we know that everybody likes a souvenir. And what they have told us is don't plan on trying to do a lot on the day that you're returning because you just don't know that something's going to interfere with your trip. We're flying direct. There are a lot of connecting flights, but they're a little more expensive. And who wants to spend all day traveling when you can get there in shorter time? So there's usually there's a night flight, and then there's one that leaves around 10 in the morning, gets you there around 2, and kind of likewise on the way back. So when we get back, there will be 1 week of semester left, in which case you just wrap it up and finish up your writing and do your concluding activities. So if you have not filled out the form yet, please click on, you can get into the slideshow and you can click on this. I will post that link for you in the chat box. I can't do it from here, but I will, sorry. Or scan that code, because if I don't have your name on the list, I don't know to follow up with you. If you're not sure, I will reply to people who say yes or maybe. If you say no, no means no, and I understand it. And hopefully you'll get, we would like to continue to do something like this. So, but you'll be our inaugural group, and hope you will help us to make it the best trip that we can. They say pura vida, so there you go. If you want to get some more information about the Soltis Center and where we're going, you can click on that link, or you can just Google Soltis Center and it'll come right up. Any questions? You can either post them here or post them in the chat box. Did I make it in time, Dr. Morton? Did I? I didn't go over time, did I?
No, you did very well. Very well. Thank you.
I will stop sharing and let you ask away or carry on with the agenda. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, she's laughing at me because I said, please, just the basics.
I didn't show you my album of photos.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, well, if you have any, I'm looking at the questions that are listed here, and I think you've covered most of them. Megan has asked, can you send the slide deck or the recording out to us? Yes, I can.
I just shared the link, the slide deck
Okay,
again,
okay. Oh, good.
right after her, I think.
Okay, I see. I didn't know what that was linked to, but that's to this actual presentation.
It should be to the slideshow. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So I hope y'all think about it. I was on the list. I said I'm going until they said we can't have that's too many people. So we'll see. I'll figure it out for maybe next year. But
Dr. Slay, is there going to be a time where other questions can be asked? Now is the time, or do you have a different
I don't have another meeting scheduled, but what I am willing to schedule a meeting tomorrow night. Here's the thing: is we want to be able to. We're working on fast track, so we can't drag this recruiting part out for weeks on end. So we need to wrap to get a number by next week, and
I just have one question. The airline, which airline are you all using in the package with the all-inclusive?
well, we haven't selected the airline yet, but I think it's American and one other airline goes. American goes direct, and that's what
Okay.
we're most
That's
likely
what I was,
to
yeah.
direct.
Okay.
So we flew American.
Okay. That was it.
Yeah, it's a wonderful opportunity.